Welcome back to the channel. So, continuing on with our journey, we are firstly going to pick up the last material we need for our plus 15 Murukuma. And what we need is a large, not a large, but it's my arrow, a titanite slab. So that is what we'll be going to pick up first before we continue our journey today. Okay, so there's a few little things we have to do in order to get the titanite slab, one of which is what I'm about to do here now. Okay, now this is quite simple. You can do this early game if you know what you're doing. And for those who have played Dark Souls before, this is quite familiar. Okay, so unfortunately I have picked up this item before, which is just the key for back to where we are going. We needed to open one of the gates, and it's a very familiar ground, so you'll see shortly where we'll be going off to. Okay, so just have a look at those keys. I think it's, yeah. So we'll be heading back to the Undead Asylum, where we need to get the titanite slab that we need. Okay, which should be a bit of fun. It's been a while since I've taken on that particular enemy, but we'll see how it goes today. Okay, so there's the description of the keys and what the keys do and where they open. So for those who are interested in a bit of lore, you can just pause the screen and you can have a read for yourself. Okay. So yeah, so that is where we will be picking up our journey today. Okay. I remember first time doing this, it was a nice surprise, but you know, it was interesting. Okay, so we have to be transported back the same way we came to Lordran, and that is how we are leaving. So it only looks like this is the only area that we get transported to back and forth with the rope. And here we are, back where it all began. Okay, so now you will see that there are some undead hollows now at the front of the asylum. Notice when we left there wasn't any enemy out here. Now we come back and there are 4 enemies. Okay, so I'm just going to deal with them. Now be very wary of these torch bearing undead because they can kill you very quickly. They have a bit more health, so just be aware of that. They have a particular running attack in which they run at you in a flurry, and it can, if you don't have good fire defense, it can take you down quickly, unexpectedly, sometimes. I'll see if I can get them to do the attack so you can see what it looks like. That's just to jump in. That one. Oh, okay. No. But just take it out. Don't want to play around with them too much. Just running through. So, okay. So in there we have another 2 enemies, which are very simple to take out. It's not very complicated. So as you remember, this is the, what is it called, the Asylum Demon. However, he's not here since we have taken him out. Okay. Take care of that guy. Right, so if you notice, I'm not going to rest at the bonfire because I don't intend to stay here too long. Okay, so I'm just changing up my weapon because I'm going to take on an NPC next, which has a lot of health and he's very beefy. Not as beefy as Havel, mind you, but he's beefy enough. Okay. So in here, if you remember at the beginning, there is Oscar. It's one hollow now, so that's why he said he will hate to harm us in death. Okay. Because he knows he's an undead, so he's going to come back. That's why he tells us to leave, because he wouldn't want to harm us. So now we have returned, now we can see why he's gone hollow. Right, so that special animation there, it's because I have the Hornet Ring. It does extra animation, and it does extra damage as well. Okay, so he drops a really good shield, which is the crest shield, which is good for magic defense. I always use that shield if I am going to fight the Four Kings or any magic enemy. Okay, so it's quite a stable shield, so it blocks 100% physical damage, but it has a quite high damage reduction for magic. So just bear that in mind. Okay, so we're just going to continue through. Get rid of these. As you can see, even at this level, they can still be quite difficult. Not that difficult, mind you, but just don't get too cocky, because that's one thing Dark Souls will quickly humble you. So you see, I can see the background there. We have a vagrant, which we'll take out if we can. Hope you don't kill me. Okay, so let's just take care of these guys. So the key that we picked up in Firelink Shrine, that is the key to open this gate, which is what we need. So we're gonna, once I can deal with this guy and get this guy out of the way, then we're gonna open that gate. There you go. Gotta love the fire weapon. Just, you know, bypasses most shields. Unless of course they have a high fire defense. Okay, so these are vagrants. Yes, they spawn in different people's worlds at different points. Some of them spawn when you lose a lot of humanity, or someone else lose a lot of humanity within the area. There's various reasons. It's never too clear really why this do spawn, but they do. Okay, so this ring is quite useful for later on when we need to run through certain areas. So that ring is quite good for areas that doesn't have very good footing. Okay, so like Blighttown and other areas where there's water and so forth, that ring is quite good. It allows you to move freely, normally I would say. Okay. So let's see, before I go and take on the other enemy, I need to swap my weapons because the fire weapon is not going to do much damage. And what I will do is I am going to equip some pine resin because it's going to be useful for this boss. Might seem like a bit of an overkill, but to be honest, I'd rather use that here and get rid of him quickly. Okay. Now, if you're around a pine resin, there's many ways you can get pine resin. You can get it from Donald, which is in the depths. He's an NPC, but after you kill the gaping dragon, he comes out of Firelink Shrine, just under the waterway. Or you can go and farm the large mushrooms in the garden, those mushroom men, they can drop pine resin as well. Okay, so I'm just going to take out this Black Knight here. As you can see, a plus 14 weapon at this point is handling those enemies quite well. Can one-shot them, which is quite good for when we get to Londo. So the peculiar doll. Now this item is needed if you are going into, let's say, the painted world of Ariamus. You need this item in order to get through. Okay, so again, if you want to read the lore, you can pause the screen and have a read of what it does and things like that. It's quite a useful key item. Okay, so you cannot get into the painted world without this item, so bear that in mind for those who are new to Dark Souls. Right, and now we're going to proceed to get what we came for. Okay, which is going to be quite interesting because, as I said, I haven't fought him for quite some time now, so excuse me, I'm a bit rusty, and I'm hoping that I don't have too many deaths here, because he can be tricky sometimes, especially with his attacks and his area of effect attacks that he does. It can really catch you off guard. Okay, if you're not aware of it and you're not used to it, you can get taken out very, very easily. Okay, so you just have to be careful with how you take on this fight. Okay, so I'm changing to the world frame so that I have a bit of poise. Okay, and I can move through certain attacks. I don't need the Hornet Ring because I wouldn't be backstabbing him or parrying him. So, right, I think I'm all set and ready to go. So here we go, peoples. First round, round one. So you have to run forward. The only thing I don't like is that you take damage with that fall. You shouldn't, but it is what it is. So there he is, and that's who we'll be taking on. So that is how you get to this second demon. Buffing weapon, and there we go. Two-handed. I don't need a shield. So his first attack will always be that opening slam attack, which has a wide area of effect. There you go. Watch out for that but slam. So that can, if you don't have much health like yourself, you can get one-shotted very easily. Okay. So this fight, you have to be patient with it. Take your time, don't rush him. You don't need to. As you can see, my strategy here is just simply one attack, move away, attack again, and that's it. Keep it simple. Look, he's done past half health, and there he goes. Attack. Give him room to do all his moves, and that is how you most of your fights should be simple like that. You don't have to make it more complicated than it needs to be. And I know many people come in swinging and they want to get him down quickly, but you don't have to. Just take your time. One hit, if you can get two, you can get two, but make sure you leave enough stamina that he can roll out of the way should his attack suddenly change. Okay, because the thing with the AIs is sometimes some of their moves, while it is predictable, yes, however, sometimes they randomly do things that they generally don't do. So just make sure you have enough. Okay, so back to Firelink. Now that that's dealt with, I've upgraded my weapon. Then we proceed. Okay, so I'm going to take on now the first boss. Now I do in my playthroughs I do things slightly differently. Some people, the first spell they go for is the Undead Parish. However, in this instance, my first spell I'm going for is in Blighttown. Okay, and many of you will know the boss I'm going to take on in order to get that done. so she can be quite a pain, but I reckon we shouldn't have too much trouble taking her out, as we have quite an upgraded weapon. Okay, so yeah, once we get that bell, then we're gonna come straight back up. I'm not gonna rest at the bonfire. Well, that's my intentions, unless I die. If I die, then I will, you know, but we'll see how it goes, because as I keep saying, I'm a bit rusty and I haven't played this game for a little while. So here we go. So I'll try and see if I can run through here. Hopefully I don't get hit. Just moving out of the way. So you can see now they're not too much trouble for us at all at this point. The weapons that we have makes the fight a bit more fair. So we are no longer underpowered. Okay. And look how simple we can make things for ourselves just by a few upgrades on our weapon. So you notice most of my defense is not reliant on my armor, because at the end of the day, if you know how to time your moves, you know how to do your rolls, and you can use your iframe to your advantage, then you don't need much of a lot of armor. Now I've seen a lot of playthroughs, and it's to me it's funny to watch a lot of people when they're playing it and they have on this heavy armor, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, yeah, it's really fun. It's funny to watch them struggle through. And the thing is, when I first played Dark Souls, I never liked the heavy roll, you know. So early I learned, when I take off my armor, I realized I can move more freely. It didn't take me long to work it out, considering that I had never played a FromSoft game. I soon learned to use light armor. Light armor equals light rolls to iframes. Now, I'm not saying that if again, it's up to you, it's your preference. If you want to play heavy, that is up to you, but just be aware that with heavy rolls, you're more likely to get hit because the iframes are lower. Okay. So change to the rusted ring, and this is why I wanted the rusted ring, so I could run through here quickly. I don't need to spend a whole lot of time. Just pick up a few items. Yeah. Okay, here we go, large titanite. And then we're just going to pick up the soul item that we can get. But I forgot to pick up in a few episodes before. Okay, so come up with me. You don't want to let go of me. Okay, so those are the boulder man. Just going to run and pick up this item here. This is just a soul item. I think it's only worth about 2,000 souls, but it all becomes useful later on. Okay. So, as you can see with the rusted iron ring, look how freely I'm moving. I'm running as normal, and it's not slowing down my animation too much. We're going to see how this boss goes, how the fight goes with this boss. Okay, so this is Quelaag's domain. So now you know we are going to be taking on Madam Quelaag. Okay, I just want to get rid of this poison before I go in. There we go. Okay, so make sure I have full health. I'm going to change up my weapon for this one. Okay, so yeah, pawn the wolf ring. And we're gonna go with the chain legging. Okay, so the reason why I put the chain legging on is that to give us a bit more poise. With the ring gives you a standard boost in poise. And if you have a bit of armor that has poise, it is quite good. Okay. So as you can see, my poise has increased to 47. So I got 27 from the armor, and then the ring gives you a straight boost. I think it's either 20 or 40, I'm not sure. But you can double check that yourself. For those who, like the finer details. Okay, so usually Mildred's summon sign is around that area. For those who want to summon Mildred, but I don't need her for this fight. I don't need her complicating things. Sometimes she can. The things with some of these NPCs is, they can be useful at times, and sometimes again they can be quite useless, and just add more HP to the boss, and then you are left to pick up the pieces. I don't need this. And let's see if I'm going to regret it. But I should be alright. Should be alright. There she is. Okay, so I'm just going to buff. Put my pioneers in. Usually she can open with a jumping attack, which she jumps in your direction, so be careful and do not roll forward, otherwise she marks you low. So if you notice, when she drops like that, when her top half, a human part drops, that is when you know it is time to get out of the area, because she's going to do an area effect explosion. Okay? It's just one thing. There you go. Good, take a slow. There's Quaylag complete. Okay, so on to our first battle. But sometimes she can be difficult, especially for early game. If you're very low level and you're trying to take her on early, just be aware of, she can one-shot you at that point. Let me say, I don't have that much health and HP at this point anyway. But I'm used to playing with really low level builds. I find it more challenging. That's why I try not to invest too much in HP early on. Now some of my other builds, I don't go with HP, I don't go beyond 27. That should, 27 vitality should be enough to give me, I can get a few Estus swing out of that. Now we gotta remember, there's a invisible wall down there, so I'll just, that's why I'll come down here, was to show for a few who are not aware. So that is where the bonfire is. And that is where you can join the Chaos Covenant as well. Okay. And there we go, first bell rung. Now we can get out of here. Okay. There we go. See, so I didn't need to rest at the bonfire, and that is why I'm glad in a way I did not rest at the bonfire. So that it's easier to, it's quicker to move back to where you need to. Okay, so let's listen to him now.
Why, what a surprise. I didn't expect you to make it. Oh, somebody rang the bell. Wait, was it you? You never give up, do you? I don't know how you do it. Only one more now. If you have the heart for it.
Interesting. Okay. So now we're moving on to the second bell. Okay. Now before I go and ring the second bell, okay, there's a few little things I like to do. I'm going to show a few little tips for those who are not aware of his role. You will see what I'm going. You will understand what I'm going to do next. Okay. So who I'm referring to, those who are curious, is a particular NPC. And for the Dark Souls veterans, they would know what I'm on about and who I'm on about, because they know what event precedes me ringing the second bell. What happens if this particular NPC is not if he's not being taken out earlier like some people do. But I don't, not all the time I like taking him out early. It's a point like the event. And that's the reason I rested at this particular bonfire, and I'm going to kindle this bonfire because of what is about to happen, or what may follow after we have rung the second bell. Double check I have what I need. I'm going to use. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to equip my bow and some arrows, and you will see a little thing I like to do to make it a bit easier when I'm ready to go through that upper part. Okay, so if you want, it's a useful tip. You can use it in your future playthroughs for those who are probably doing a playthrough at the moment or playing through the game again. And for those who now start in the game, if you have a bow, it is quite useful in this area. Okay, I'm just going to take these out. Come on. Don't have all day. Come on. There we go. It's done. Right, so this is why we need the bow. Okay, so from here, what I like to do is I like to pull the enemies out. And you do that by taking out, if you can see, just at the back there is one enemy. Okay. Slightly, there we go. So look, now that he's been taken out, that ambush has been foiled. Okay. Now what you do, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. So now I just pick them off one by one and get rid of most of them. Bit ambitious there. Okay, so now they're starting to crowd me a bit. Just change a bit of tactic. Okay. Follow me, guys, follow me. So yeah, you can pull them however, wherever you want them, because they will follow you. Okay. And that is how you deal with that. So it means when I get up there, I don't have all of them to deal with. And it makes my job a bit easier. Okay, so let's move back, take him out. Then take out this Boulder Knight, because he can be a pain. There we go. Oh. Very unusual, but very good weapon as well. Didn't expect to get that. See, it's funny because if I was farming for it, I wouldn't have gotten it. Now I'm not looking for it. I end up getting it. So this is quite a very good weapon. Okay, good quality weapon. Scales with dex, scales with strength as well. But it's a bit in between. I mean, so some people will argue it's a dex weapon, but I just say it's a quality and that's it. That's how I see it. Because you need investment in both strength and dex, which, by my summation, would make it a quality weapon. But I digress. Okay. So we're going to take on the corner. We can take this guy out. Okay. So now, if we hadn't taken out that ambush, as soon as we get here, all of them would start rushing at us, which would then make it quite difficult. Okay, so that is why I did what I did and get rid of them early. And this is what I was on about in a few episodes back, where I say sometimes that you have to plan how you approach certain things. You don't just run in willy-nilly, you know, and expect, just hope and pray that nothing bad happens. So, but then again, it comes with experience. Because I've played it a few times, I've memorized most of the enemy's placements and where they are. You sort of develop your own ways of dealing with some enemies. Okay, so that guy barrel gives us a humanity. So, right, so here's a very interesting NPC.
Oh,
Knight Lordran.
Are you? Then I am in luck. Could you help me? As you can see, I am stuck without recourse.
So the key, one of the keys you find, the mystery key, this is what it opens. Okay, now if you have the master key, you can open this without the mystery key. So just be aware of that. Okay, so this is the first location we meet Lordran at. Now that we have spoken to him,
thank you.
He's going to move to his second location.
Sincerely, I am Knight
Which
Lordran
you're going to see
of Karin. I
the
truly
second
appreciate
location
this, and I
where he moves
guarantee a
to.
reward.
Okay, and that is where you will get your
Later.
reward. Okay, so let's... Right, so we're back down in Firelink, and at the bottom, just below the bonfire, here he sat,
Hello there.
opposite the firekeeper.
I have your reward.
Now, many of you who have played Dark Souls will
Accept
know
it.
what happens if I don't
I am
take him out
grateful
here.
to you
So
for
I'm not
freeing
taking
me.
him out in this particular episode, or in this particular
Not
playthrough.
enough for you.
Just leaving the events
Well,
to play out as
Let's
they
not
normally
be
do.
greedy now.
Okay. If you decide to take him out, that's up to you. If you want the
You
ring of
again.
favor and protection,
What is it?
Like a
Our
solid
futures
ring.
are murky. Let's
but
not be too
unfortunately,
friendly now.
once it is removed, it is broken and you can't use it again. So, and
You again.
that's one ring
What is
slot
it?
that is being used permanently. Okay, so just bear that in mind if you're going to be trying to get that. Okay, so we have met him in his second location. Now, from here, once you go down here, you speak to him down there. If you are human and you want to summon him for this gargoyle fight, not many people are aware of it, but you can summon him for this fight. So his summon sign is just here. So you come up the first ladder, just before the second ladder. If you come back on yourself, you can see his summon sign behind here. Okay, and there he is. I'll try, but I would not be using him in this playthrough. Okay. However, what I will do is summon Solaire. Okay. So for this, we're going to change weapons again. I'm going to go with the normal Murakuma. And I've got my pine resin. Yeah, take off all that. I don't need all that. Okay, so let's see how this fight is going to play out. Now, a little trick with summoning, okay? If when you summon, as you can see, Knight Solar, I'm going to summon him. Okay. Now, what I like to do is get into the boss fight and trigger it before he is summoned in. Okay. Because I think he does not add HP. If you can get the boss fight triggered before he actually summons in, it does not add to the HP. But I could be wrong. I remember in the past, I think it was Epic Neighbor and a few other guys, they were talking about that theory. If you can get in and trigger the boss fight before the summons is being called forward, it does not add to it. But go and look at their videos, look at Rati's or Epic Neighbor and get the information. Could be remembering it wrong. Okay, so here we go. See, 1 hit, 2 hit, and that's the end of it. Okay, second one comes in. Ooh, gargoyle how good, very good weapon. There he goes, 1 hit, and he's done for. Okay, so I really didn't need Solar, but I just summoned him because I wanted to do something like that. And that is that. So there we have 2 bells rung. Fights were, you know, pretty fortunate with the fight. Because even though sometimes you have the weapon and you think, oh, it's going to be a cakewalk, sometimes the game can surprise you. But it's done now. So yeah, Gargoyle, how good, yeah, very good weapon. I've had many a fun with this weapon. It's an underrated weapon, an underestimated weapon. It is quite good actually, especially if you just upgrade it along the normal path, and if you're using some sort of sorcery buff on it, you know, a miracle buff, it then becomes really, it's quite a solid weapon. I would recommend. Okay. So now we're just on the path to bring in the second bell. So as you can see, I do things slightly differently to how most people would play, but I get the same results. So that's why I say, play your game the way you are happy to play your game. And that's the beauty with most of FromSoft games. They give you multiple options, and you can choose which one is best for you. And that way the game is not too linear. And, you know, you can play around. Okay, so that's the second bell rung, and it triggers this little cutscene. This is where the true Dark Souls begins. Okay, so we got the trophy achievement for that. Because this is the first time I'm playing on this particular character. Okay, on this account. So there you have it. Bell number 2 has been rung. Okay, so from here, just gonna move on. Just gonna hold my ball out. for the next area that we'll be going into, I like to have especially in certain areas where you can paramountly go through the wall. Quite useful, and you can play it to your advantage. So yes, that gives me 2 attunement now. Attune 2 spells. Set and ready for the next area. Before we do that, so now we're going to go back to Firelink Shrine just to see the event and what has taken place. Play around with them. That is how I like this. Although I'm not doing a speed run or anything like that, but I just hate wasting time and effort on things that I don't need to. So, our fire's out.
Did you ring the second bell? That is incredible, I must say. But now we have a new problem. It's noisy, it snores, and its breath is lethal. This is no laughing matter, I tell you. Damn, that stench. And I was really beginning to like it here. Maybe it's time I do something about it. Maybe it's time I do something about it.
Keeper has been slain. Okay. This is the Firekeeper's set, the dingy set. So before, there's a few things we have to do and a few places we have to go. For later episodes. Okay, so welcome to Sen's Fun House. Like I said, this is where the true Dark Souls begins. And yeah, quite a fun place. So I think what I'll do is we'll cut it here for today. Thanks for watching. Do hope you enjoyed. And we're going to see you in the next one. Bye for now.